How I wish Casey would return from law school. Since the family automobile dealership failed, in the face of unscrupulous foreign competition, we have had no income, and our little family has been forced to live off our meager savings. If Casey were here, I'm certain he would know what to do. Then, too, I miss his sweet voice and gentle smile.
Did I hear you talking to yourself again, Nell? Still pining away for Casey.
Good morning, dear Aunt Nora. Did you sleep well?
Oh, about as well as an old woman might who fears she's going to be evicted at any moment from her lifelong home.
Cheer up, Auntie. I am certain Mr. Whiplash will look favorably upon my request for forbearance. After all, we have been valued customers of his savings and loan, and have faithfully paid our mortgage for a good many years before these latest vicissitudes.
Didn't anybody ever learn you people to read? I don't carry these signs around 24 hours a day for nothing. That there vermin is Wiley Whiplash. He's the villain. I never know when I'm gonna run into that slithering scalawag. In a melodrama, you're supposed to boo the villain. Yeah, you got it. Let's try it again. One time.
Well, if it isn't old Gideon Pieball.
Well, if it ain't, his clothes sure fit good.
I'm here to see Miss Pureheart.
Then why are you bothering me?
I was merely inquiring whether Miss Pureheart was in.
Do I look like your secretary? Knock on the door and find out. Had I known old Wiley was coming, I'd have dug more holes. Deep ones. I don't like that fella very much. Don't trust him. Don't trust him. Nope. His type steals candy from babies. Why, just the other day, I saw him snatch a Snickers bar from baby Ruth.
I have no doubt but that you will look unfavorably upon the actions I'm about to take. You will undoubtedly conclude that Jimmy Stewart would have acted otherwise. But then he did not invest his savings and loan monies in oil wells in Texas. What I'm about to do, I do to protect the depositors. My actions are noble. I have no ulterior motives other than maintaining my somewhat lavish lifestyle. Egad, her beauty dazzles me. She must be mine.
Whiplash, how kind of you to come.
Good morning, Miss Pureheart. I was, sorely distressed when I read your letter. How can I help you?
We regret to say that we are two penniless women unable to make even a partial payment on our mortgage.
How it rends my heart to hear you say so.
I'm afraid I must ask forbearance on your part, until such time as I can obtain a suitable position.
In the meantime, dear Nell, could you not work at the Family Dollar?
Indeed not. No pure heart has ever sunk that low.
Well then, perhaps you might work as a menial, or take a minimum wage job. I'm certain I could find a suitable position for you at my savings and loan.
You, sir, suggest a fate worse than death.
Not as yet, my dear. That comes later. I don't wish to seem rapacious, my dear, but do you recall the old Jimmy Stewart movie in which he explains how a savings and loan operates? How I loan out the monies that you pay in so that your neighbors can build their houses. If you do not pay your just debts, I cannot help your neighbors, my dear.
Oh, what an evil person I am. By my default, I am undermining the entire economic fabric of our community. Dear Aunt Nora, what shall I do?
You know a good hiding place?
Nell, dear Nell, do not reproach yourself. Hear me out.
What exactly are you proposing, dear Mr. Whiplash?
Oh, Nell, he's proposing the fate worse than death.
I love you, Nell. I have always loved you, especially since my geologist has told me that your farm sits atop a pool of oil. I propose to marry you, my dear.
But are you also proposing to forgive the mortgage?
If you were to deed the farm to me, you have my word that I would make your debts my own.
With that Whiplash hanging around, planting trees seems like a perfectly good waste of a lovely hole.
Oh, Mr. Whiplash.
Call me Wiley, my dear.
Oh, Mr. Wiley.
Forget the mister.
Wiley Whiplash, your kind proposal comes like a whip. Excuse the pun, lashing. May I, good sir, give you my answer tomorrow? I need time to consider.
The deadbeats have missed 9 months of mortgage payments. But granting a 24-hour extension is cheaper than hiring a lawyer. Of course, my dear. Mwah. And now, if you'll excuse me, I must begin foreclosure proceedings against the widow Moran and her 7 small children. I bid you good day. Now I have the proud and haughty beauty in my power. She cannot escape. I shall have both her and the farm.
I probably should have mentioned to old Worthless that I've been digging more holes for the new septic tank over there yonder. Terrible shame if we found one. Appears he found one.
kidding, Nell? You can't marry Wiley, the man's a cad. Why, he as much as admitted that all he wants is the deed to the farm. Moreover, do you love him?
Indeed not.
Then you must not marry him. Remember your dear Aunt Matilda's fate, unless you too wish to become only a bird in a gilded cage.
Oh, how I wish Casey were here. He'd know what to do.
Did I hear someone mention my name?
Casey!
Did I hear someone mention my name?
Yes! Casey, do you know what to do?
Why, of course I do. I just graduated from lawyer school. Now, what seems to be the problem?
Casey, we ain't paid the mortgage in 9 months, and we are going to be evicted unless Nell here agrees to marry Wiley Whiplash by 9 in the morning. We need your help.
And you shall have it. Just sign this here contingent fee contract.
What does it say?
It says, if I win, I get both you and the farm.
What if you lose?
Why, perish the thought. Casey Cleandee will rescue you from the wiles of Wiley Whiplash. Nell, darling.
Are you proposing to?
I loves you, Nell. I've always loved you. I propose to marry you, my dear. Will you have me, my dear?
Oh, yes, Casey, with all my heart.
Pardon me, Miss Nell, but I thought you'd like to know I finished planting them plants. Do you still want me to bathe the hogs?
Oh, thank you, Gideon. Yes. I don't like it when they smell like pigs. And be sure to use plenty of bubble bath.
Nell, darling.
Casey, now that you have rescued Nell from the clutches of Wiley Whiplash, how do you propose to save the farm? Casey, you got any money?
Not a cent.
And I suppose you're up to your eyeballs in unpaid student loans?
Yep.
How then, I repeat, how then do you propose to bring the mortgage current?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. May I have 24 hours?
23! He gets here at 9 for his answer.
Yeah, Zeus.
This one has nothing to do with old Wiley. I got a fearsome toothache. Dennis says he's gonna do a root canal at 9:30. Told me if I was late, hey, do it without xylocaine. Oh, I wrote myself a note so I wouldn't forget.
A perfect morning to claim one's bride.
Speaking of root canal, here come another one, the two-legged variety. This must be my lucky day. Boo!
I'll bet you thought I was gonna tie her to the railroad tracks, didn't you? You tend to think of her as the victim. But in fact, I am the victim. I have loaned her money, and she has broken her written word to repay it. I have done nothing wrong. I have made her an honorable proposal. If she will consent to be my wife and deed the farm to me, I will cure all her defaults. Oh, it is true, I am withholding inside information. But then I am gambling too. I could drill for oil and never find it. And Nell could turn out to be a shrew. Or even worse, a home shopping network enthusiast. Good morning, madam. Where is the fair Nell?
Here I am.
I have come for my answer, my dear.
I have decided, sir, to decline your kind proposal.
How this galls me. You will rue the day, my proud and haughty beauty. Villains just love that line. I shall commence foreclosure proceedings at once. I'll bet you thought I was going to run her through the sawmill. What do you say to that, my pretty?
Just this. Sue him!
I have here legal papers charging you with violations of the Federal Truth in Lending Act, the Iowa Installment Loan Act, and sexual harassment.
Gad! Foiled again!
I'm so happy I could dance.
Hey, me too! Sell my clothes, I'm going to heaven.
Well,
Not gonna.
in that case, I'll find her myself. Have a nice day, Gideon.
Same to you, Whiplash. Break a leg.
I think the old bone bag is actually growing rather fond of me. It's my immeasurable charm. Women find me irresistible. You do realize, of course, that in the language of the theater, break a leg means good luck. That's the nicest thing the old scarecrow has ever said to me. But then, we're not in a theater. In any event, now is the time for wily Whiplash to recoup his fortunes. I have been brought to the abyss. Of poverty by the failure of my savings and loan and Nell's sexual harassment lawsuit. But if I can lay my hands on Nell's farm and the pool of oil under it, I shall be returned to the standard of living to which I had become accustomed. But first, we shall see if clothes do indeed make the man.
This is admiring.
Do I hear a knock on the door? Yes, I do hear a knock on the door.
Good morning, Miss Pureheart. Note that I've even changed my aftershave.
Good morning. How deep and resonant his voice is.
May I come in?
Why, yes.
You may note the deeper, more resonant masculine voice.
Oh, it's so deep and resonant, but I'm certain I have heard it before, under more sinister circumstances.
Do you not recognize me, Nell?
Why, no, sir, should I?
It is I, Nell. Wily Whiplash.
Has he come for revenge? Wily Whiplash? Why do my thoughts suddenly recur to the old sawmill along the river? I did not recognize you. How he is transfigured. I wonder if he is single.
How are you? How is Casey?
Casey? Casey who? But where is your mustache? Your cape? Your stovepipe hat? Your white socks?
Gone, Nell. Gone forever. I have reformed.
Reformed? How I am forever drawn to virtue.
When I lost the savings and loan, I befriended John Barleycorn.
How splendid! In a time of troubles, we all need good friends.
You misunderstand, dear lady. When I say I befriended John Barleycorn, I am reproving myself. I am admitting that I turned to whiskey, demon rum.
You became a drunkard, all because of my sexual harassment suit? How I reproach myself for being the cause of suffering to a fellow human being.
Actually, I limited myself to 1 beer per night. To do our most nefarious scheming, we villains must stay sober. But I had started down the slippery slope.
What called you back?
You, Nell, your fair face and your sweet voice beckoned me back through the dark of night.
How I applaud myself for being the beacon that beckoned him back from the brink of blackness.
Then, too, I was haunted by the thought of you wasting yourself on that prosaic Casey Cleanbee.
Take care, sir, that you do not disparage my fiancé. And yet, he speaks the truth. Shall I reprove him for that? Kindly state your business, sir. You may take all the time that you need.
Who are you talking to now? Wily Whiplash. What are you doing here?
I have taken a position with the Salvation Army, selling Bibles.
Is that so? Well, I still don't trust you. If you ask me, he's still a wolf, or maybe a skunk in sheep's clothing.
Madam, how you wrong me.
Dear aunt, would you not agree with Shakespeare that an old cloak makes a new jerkin?
Old jerkin, new jerkin. Phooey. Once a jerkin, always a jerkin.
What, dear aunt? What of Christian charity? Surely our requires us to believe that sinners can change for the better.
Sinners, maybe. Skunks? Never. Bible salesman? Humbug?
Dear Mr. Whiplash, you must excuse my aunt. She's lost all faith in men ever since the Congress taxed her Social Security benefits.
Say no more, dear Nell. In truth, I cannot believe the change myself. Note that when I say I do not believe the change myself, I am telling the absolute truth.
Please, sir, let me get you a cup of tea.
Eureka! A penny from heaven.
Oh, how clumsy of me. I feel so helpless, like a baby in his arms.
Nell,
Please, Mr. Whiplash, I am pledged to another.
I love you.
Morning, Nell. Morning, Wiley.
Oh, it's
Good
you.
morning. Good morning, darling.
I have wonderful news, Nell.
Yes, Casey?
I have decided to run for the Vice President of these United States.
Is that you, Casey?
Yep.
What, you still here?
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I must be going. I must bring the salvation to other sinners. Did you see that? A clean shave, a change of clothes, and a little earnest wooing, and the haughty beauty all but throws herself in my arms. So much for the railroad tracks. And now, back to the office from whence I shall send another 500 letters to that simple-minded Queenie, urging him to begin at once his campaign for the vice presidency. But first, I must purchase more perfume. See how she nearly kissed me, didn't you? She is in my power. She cannot escape. I shall have both her and the farm.
Seems like old Wiley's taking up residence here. I guess I'm gonna need more signs.
Auntie, Casey has decided to run for the Vice President of the United States.
What on earth for?
Why, because the people urge me to do so.
Where did you get that foolish notion?
From women. Yep, they've been sending me perfume letters urging me to seek the vice presidency. It all began right after I won Nell's sexual harassment suit against old Wiley. Why, I'll bet I've received 500 or more letters.
When you gonna start?
Well, this afternoon.
This afternoon. I thought you was gonna marry Nell.
Nell who? Oh, this Nell. Now, I realize that this campaign may seem like a dark cloud in an otherwise azure sky, but it will pass. You will wait for me, won't you, Nell? I mean, it'll be a mere 3 years, but I promise I'll write.
How could I do otherwise? The good of the country must come first.
What do you think?
I don't know. When you gonna leave again?
Probably not soon enough for you. But Nell, you're so good and so understanding, but please, don't be downcast. Golly, I am indeed the luckiest man in the world. I have Nell's love, I have my lawyer license, and I have an adoring public. Oh, God.
Well, I guess there's just nothing else for me to do except go out and pluck a chicken for dinner.
I fear I am a shameless hussy. Here I am, engaged to marry Casey, and yet suddenly I am deeply attracted to Wiley. And why did I not protest Casey's plan to postpone our wedding 3 years? Am I truly that patriotic? Why do I suddenly feel so evil? And why does the thought of a near kiss in the kitchen evoke the thought of another kiss in the moonlight from a man who only recently
My bunions is killing me. That normally means rain, or else that scallywag Whiplash is up to his usual no good. Yep, not a cloud in the sky. And now when Nell needs him the most, Casey gets urgings from over 500 of our neighbors to go off and run for office. You may think me a suspicious old biddy, but I smell a skunk. And the only one I've seen around here lately is that worthless Whiplash. 500 letters. Wait a minute. There's only about 300 voters in this whole county. Half of them is men. I think it's time for old Aunt Nora to play detective, don't you?
By now, dear old Casey should be off on the hustings, and my pretty plum should be ripe for the plucking. Let's just hope that Aunt Nora is off somewhere, haunting a house. I want you to take special note of how I disarm the virtuous Nell and make her mine. To put it simply, there must be variety, even in virtue. Evidence, Casey's falling star.
Good afternoon, Mr. Whiplash.
Good afternoon, my dear. I'm sorry to intrude, but I believe I've left one of my Bibles here this morning.
Why, yes.
Note that the professional villain leaves nothing to chance.
Here it is.
I have a confession to make.
Yes.
I didn't leave the Bible here accidentally. I wanted an excuse to return.
How I am attracted by his candor. Why, Mr. Whiplash, I hardly know what to say. I never knew being naughty could feel so nice.
And Nell, I have a second confession to make. I wrote all those letters to Casey. I wanted him out of the way so that I could have you all to myself. I love you now. I have always loved you. I want to marry you.
Oh, Mr. Whiplash.
Call me Wiley, my dear.
Oh, Wiley, my dear.
And Nell, I have a third confession to make.
How virtuous he's become. Why, even the most devout Catholics rarely make more than 2 confessions a year. But wait, I too have a confession to make.
Yes, Nell.
I love you too.
We're missing a chicken. I thought I'd better check and see if he might have wandered in here. Homer! 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 I guess he's not here.
Unhand that girl, you beast!
Oh, dear Aunt Nora, I love him.
Fiddlesticks, what about Casey?
Casey? Casey who?
Casey Creed, your fiancé.
Oh, that Casey.
Yes, that Casey. Have you lost your mind, girl? That's Wiley Whiplash you was kissing. True, all the eligible bachelors in town avoid her like the plague since she sued him for sexual harassment, but this is ridiculous.
Yes, Auntie, I have lost my mind. I'm in love with Wiley, and I may marry him.
Eureka! Nell, the farm and the oil are mine, all mine.
Oh, no. The fate worse than death. Oh, how I wish Casey was here. He'd know what to do.
Did I hear someone mention my name?
Casey?
Did I hear someone mention my name?
Yes, get in here, you nincompoop. Nell's gonna marry Wiley.
But she can't do that. She's gonna marry me. Why, it's a criminal offense to marry two husbands at one time. We learned that in lawyer school. Why, it's burglary.
She's only planning on marrying one, and it's him.
I thought I'd gotten rid of him. What are you doing here?
Oh, I missed my train.
Why, sent you airline tickets!
I could feel it in my bones. He was behind all this. It was you who sent all them letters.
I cannot tell a lie, indeed I did.
Nell, did you hear him? Did you hear that scoundrel confess?
Wiley has already told me everything. He did it to save me from Casey.
I don't understand. How could you waste yourself, sweet Nell, on this blackguard? I must say I find your conduct shocking. Shocking.
Casey, if you love her truly, forbear.
But I do love you, Nell.
Well, then quick, do something.
There.
That ain't the way you do it. What they teach you in that there lawyer school anyway?
Civil procedures, torts, federal taxation, leading the witness.
I get the idea. Quick, do something else.
I got it. I'll sue him for alienation of affections. Maybe I should send roses?
Good grief. Are all lawyers this romantically inept? I got a better idea. I'm going to rent some Humphrey Bogart movies. The one with Kate Hepburn and Lauren Bacall in them. And then you watch them tonight, okay? And then we'll beat Wiley at his own game. Come on with me. Come on. It's going to be fun. We're just going to...
I don't understand, Nora.
I never do.
We seem to be all alone. What would you like to do?
I think we should get out of here before they come back.
And where? And what do you have in mind?
Come, Nell. I know an old justice of the peace just a few miles down the road. Come with me there. Let's get married tonight.
Wiley, dear, could we not wait until tomorrow? I'd like to invite dear Aunt Nora and Casey.
curses. A delay could be fatal. But what choice do I have? Of course, my dear. I may even ask Casey to be best man.
Oh, how I long for them distant days when we were a duo of destitute damsels in dire distress. And when that wicked, wily whiplash crassly contrived to get his greedy hands on our happy homestead, the prosperity that came in the wake of Nell's sexual harassment lawsuit against Wiley has addled the girl's brain. Instead of marrying the prosaic Casey, her dearest friend and childhood sweetheart, she discards her virtue and indeed is on the verge of wasting away her entire self on that utter scoundrel. Nell's infatuation with that blackguard is bizarre. She is good and noble and forthright. He is vile, venal, and base. But as inexplicable as Nell's infatuation with Wiley is, his attachment to her is even more grotesque. It can't be love. Why, his Machiavellian mind could never be satisfied with her pure Iowa virtue.
Morning, Aunt Nora.
Morning, Casey. Hey, learned anything from them movies?
Oh, indeed I did. Why, I learned how with a couple of old oxygen tanks, I could construct torpedoes.
Oh, goody. If we ever have to sink the African Queen in an Iowa cornfield, we'll be sure to call you.
Do I, dear Aunt Nora, detect a modicum of sarcasm in them words?
Casey, I had you watch them movies so you could see how Bogart wooed his leading ladies. I was hoping you'd bring back something that maybe could help you win back Nell's affection.
Oh. Well, maybe I have to watch them again.
Well, you can do that tonight. Right now, what you gotta do is help me figure out what Wiley is up to.
Well, heck, that's easy. He's in love with Nell and he wants to marry her. Oops. Dang it, it seems I've tracked mud on your carpet.
Oh, I'll get them on. Casey, something I don't know here. We ain't had rain in a month of Sundays, and it's been the hottest July on record. Where on earth did you ever find mud?
Well, I came over along the creek.
You won't come up. Casey, this ain't mud, it's oral.
sorry, Auntie.
Oh, that's all right. It was an accident. Just don't let it happen again. And no Goshen, Casey. That's it. Don't you see?
No, I think you got it all up.
If you step in oil, Casey, there's got to be oil underneath the farm. Don't you understand?
Why, if someone's been polluting, I'll put a stop to it.
It's the oil Wiley wants. It ain't Nell, it's the oil he's after. Don't you see?
Well, of course I see. But why would anybody want gooey old oil when they could have Nell? No, I don't see.
Hit him with the mop.
I got to get to thinking here. There's oil underneath the farm. That's why Whiplash tried to foreclose on the mortgage. Marrying Nell is just a strategy to get to the oil. Once Nell won that lawsuit, we was independently wealthy. That's what we was. And he was ruined. Casey? Casey, Wiley has tried to recoup his losses the only way he can.
By reforming his life and working hard.
No, by pretending to reform and by tricking Nell into marrying him. He figures once he gets his hands on her, he'll get his hands on the farm and on the oil.
Yeah, Zeus. Why, the man's a cad. He must be stopped. But how?
Well, why ask me? I'm not the lawyer. You are.
Egad, I almost forgot. You'll have to excuse me, dear Aunt Nora, while I consult my law books and re-examine my old briefs.
Sometimes I think I should have been the lawyer. You know, I think I'm going to mosey on down to that creek. And if I find evidence of gold, get that thing in there. Oh. Evidence of oil. I'm going to contact our local geologist, Mr. Basil T. Shale.
Nell? Nell, darling? And Nora? It would appear that no one is here. I'll just make myself at home. No, not yet. Reformed sinners do not smoke big black cigars. We have an image to maintain, but not for long. She is putty in my hands. Clean shirts, a snappy aftershave, and a few flattering words have so thoroughly disarmed the desirable damsel that it is fruit ripe for the plucking. And with Nell, the oil. How, you ask, do I intend to acquire the oil? No doubt you still expect me to resort to the railroad track, or the sawmill. But I'm a humane man. Indeed, I can barely bring myself to swat a blue-bottle fly. In fact, I've been thinking about this in some measure. I am immensely attracted to the idea of a forged will, coupled with a draft of untraceable poison. Oh, that's delightful. But then, if the sheriff is smarter than I perceive him to be, I could spend the rest of my life in prison, and the oil would do me no good. In fact, I might even exhaust my hard-earned fortune paying for attorneys like that insipid clean deed, fees for my defense, appeals. Consequently, I have devised a more deft and entirely legal subterfuge. First, I marry Nell. Next, I buy her a lovely little cottage in town. Thereafter, I encourage her to sell the farm as excess baggage. Of course, I buy it myself using a suitable pseudonym such as Justice and Virtue. Once accomplished, I divorce Nell, magnanimously giving her our little love cottage and all of her furniture as her portion of the marital settlement. Then, after a decent interval, I, wily ex-Whiplash, purchased the farm from Justice and Virtue. In other words, I buy it from myself. Oh. The device is charming, isn't it? I think that's all I have for that. Oh, what I like best about that, no blood, no gore, no criminal liability, just money, money, money. No wonder they called me Wiley. Nell, darling, how radiant you look this morning. Indeed, you are more beauteous than the bouquet of blossoms you bear in your basket.
Oh, good morning, Wiley dear, and thank you for the compliment. How wonderful it is for a woman to know she is loved by a good man solely for her virtue.
Nell, I've come to tell you that I love you with all of my heart and soul, and to ask you to be my wife.
But I thought you came to marry me. Didn't you propose yesterday?
The experience was so exhilarating, I simply must do it again. How do I love you? Let me count the ways. I love you with a puissant passion that sets my poor heart pulsating profusely and palpitating profoundly, or something like that.
Huh? His simple eloquence transports me to ecstasy, although I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. Does all that mean you still want to marry me?
Oh, yes, 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 my darling, with all of my heart.
Then, dearest, I re-accept. I'll be proud to be the wife of the most reformed sinner in River Junction, Iowa.
Oh, Nell, you have made me the happiest man alive. Do you see how easy that is? And now, Nell, there's something else. I have found the perfect home for us. I know you'll love it just as much as I do. Come with me to town and look at it before we wed.
A house?
Oh, yes, my love, but not just a house. A home. A lovely little cottage with green shutters and morning glories twining round the door.
Oh, Wiley, it sounds wonderful. Yes, let's do it.
Morning, Nell. Nell, what's he doing here? What's going on? What? Tell me now.
I have asked Nell to be my bride, and she has accepted.
Auntie, are you all right? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I'll be all right. Oh, Nell, tell me I didn't hear what I just did hear. Tell me you ain't gonna marry that scoundrel.
Oh, how cruel of me. I have been thinking only of my own happiness. If I were to marry you, what would become of dear Aunt Nora?
Well, for the near future, given her present enfeebled condition, she'll obviously need care in the finest nursing home we can find. And after she convalesces, I know a lovely little senior assisted living facility where she could live in Florida. It's situated on a charming knoll overlooking a malarial swamp. On a lawn chair every day and watch the alligators basking in the sun. I'm told the little reptilians often become quite attached to the residents.
Oh, no, you don't. You ain't gonna ship me off to no malaria swamp to be devoured by mosquitoes and alligators.
Auntie, you misjudged dear Whiplash. I am sure he had no such intention.
Oh, the thought never crossed my mind. You believe me, don't you?
Nobody here but us window washers. Nell, darling, you can't marry Wiley.
But I must. I gave my word.
Yes, she gave her word.
But earlier you gave your word to Casey, don't you remember?
That's okay. He's a lawyer. He'll understand.
But if I break my promise to Wiley, he might feel there is no sincerity in the world and relapse.
Yes, indeed. Without Nell's goodness to guide me, I'm certain I would relapse. I might even become more despicable than I was before.
That is not possible. Nell, darling, I was hoping you would find out the truth for yourself, but you ain't. Wiley has not reformed. He does not love you. He only wants to get his hands on this farm.
I deny that allegation, and I defy my alligator.
Don't you dare call my Aunt Nora an alligator. This is her home, and she has every right to alligate here.
How you wrong me. I care nothing for dirt. It is Nell that I love. The only reason I wish to marry her is because I love her.
Would you be willing to sign a prenuptial agreement renouncing any interest in all of Nell's property?
A prenuptial agreement? Certainly. Therein lies the genius of my plan. She retains the property. She then sells the property. And I buy oil for the price of farmland. Where is the vulgar document I'm ready to sign?
Oh, Wiley, how you've changed. How a woman loves to be loved wholly for herself. Good morning, Casey.
Didn't your mother ever tell you to wipe the mud off your shoes before you enter a room?
It ain't mud, it's oral. What have you got? Is that it?
Yes, dear boy, what have you got? Something tells me the shaft is about to be sunk in the wrong location.
I have here a special prenuptial agreement under which Wiley agrees to deed to Nell any right, title, or interest he may ever acquire in any oil lying under the farm.
Oil? Under the farm? Preposterous. Are you sure, dear boy, that you haven't been tippling, spending too much time, as they say, at the bar?
It's no use, Whiplash. We're up to your game. The chickens are out of the barn, the horses out of the coop.
The man's mad. Suspicionitis. It's a virus. They catch it in law school. Surely, Nell, you don't believe him? Am I not innocent until my guilt is proved? By a reasonable doubt. Is that not the American way?
Yes, this still is America. Where, Casey, is your proof?
Right here on my boot. I stepped in it as I came over along the creek.
Surely, you don't expect us to believe that you putting your foot in a puddle of petroleum positively proves that there is oil percolating up from an underground pool. Is it not equally possible that the congealed crude on your clodhopper is contamination from some irresponsible upstream corporate polluter?
Yeah, Zooks. I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps I've misjudged his intentions.
Oh, Casey, how could you?
Believe me, Nell, I care not a fig for oil. It is you I love.
Oh, Wiley.
Oh, balderdash! Open your eyes, Nell. Casey's telling the truth. Wiley has not reformed. He's only pretending.
But, Aunt, this is America. We must have proof.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Here's the proof. Noticed the flare? I really should have been the lawyer. I presume, sir, that you have seen this before?
No, I can't say that I have. It's a shame I've forgotten my glasses.
Use mine. Is it not a fact that your name is Wiley X Whiplash?
I admit to that, I think.
And do you also admit, sir, that you have recently had dealings with a geologist in town by the name of Basil T. Shale?
Shale. Shale? Shale. I can't say that I've ever met the man. Of course, I have spoken to him on the phone.
How then, I repeat, how then do you explain that document from Basil T. Shale to Wiley X Whiplash, advising that yes, indeed, there's a vast pool of oil underneath this very farm?
I can only conclude that there has been a gross breach of geologist-client confidentiality. The man has no ethics.
Oh, Wiley, how could you?
I needed the money. Working for it is too hard. Stealing it is dishonest, and even worse, you could go to jail. Marrying for it is the American way.
You creep!
Wait, my readers.
Don't you dare! Target my doorstep again! I've been such a fool. Can you ever forgive me?
Well, sure, I mean,
Don't talk to her. Take her in your arms and kiss her.
I just realized what happened to poor old Homer. His mother would have been real proud. Whoa, stop, that's enough.
I saw it done just like that in the African Queen.
You never used to kiss like that. Who have you been kissing?
I take the Fifth Amendment. After all, it's the American way.
Oh, it was fun. Thank you.
I know.